What's up, guys? So these are the dev notes for the 25th of July. I'm late, but yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. So they're trying to just balance some heroes, buff some, nerf some. Here are the buffs. We've got multiple heroes: Luluka, Balance Season, Ludwig, Tenebria, Leo, Roman, Ricarus, Captain Ricarus. Even the skill tree runes have been changed. I mean, not all. Wrasse. We've got, well, that's it. So, buff expected. Bazaar, Euphine, a little bit, Lytica, and ML Cully. Well, finally, she was supposed to be buffed before, but here it's coming. And nerfs to ML Araminta, ML Balance Season, ML Vildred, and ML Armin. Yeah, we saw these coming, so we'll see how it goes. Hopefully PvP gets better. Of course they're still dizzy, but of course you can just bring a hero to cleanse debuffs. Okay, so Luluka. So you can easily compare red part to the green part on the right side. And now Wild Wave, that's skill 1, and we have a chance, 50% chance to increase defense for 2 turns. So higher uptime on defense, down debuff by using her, which is really good, and an increase to land defense down 10%. Nothing crazy, but I mean it's something. And they're changing something, like the damage dealt was increasing every time using this skill. That's 3rd skill, and it stacks up to 3 times. But now it will increase the caster's attack instead of just increasing damage. It probably just ends up being the same thing, because here in the description they're not saying that it's going to be an increase of like X percentage damage wise. Balance Season's getting quite a big buff, man. That skill 3 cooldown reduced from 5 to 3 is quite insane. Imagine you using Etika's Scepter. Wow, like he's gonna be able to just, like, if you have enough effectiveness, and I mean it's not 100% chance to land the debuffs. I believe it's like 85%. Still, you've got unhealable, you've got decreased speed, and you've got decreased defense for 3 turns. And the skill 2 damage was actually not that high, so it's getting like a major buff. And I have Balance Season on account 2 and 3, but only account 3 is really getting built. I'm actually farming Golem 11 right now and getting them to level 60, already 6-star, getting the whole thing ready. And also Balance Season is really good for in terms of morale in the raid and in the labyrinth, so that's one of the big reasons why I'm building him. So Ludwig, man, that's kind of cancerous there. Skill 1 has, okay, that it's a 50% chance to stun, and now the thing is granting invincibility to the caster for 1 turn. So it's probably a 50% chance to grant invincibility as well as stunning. Yeah, because I mean they would have worded it differently if it was like 100% chance. Attacks with like, actually it could be 100% chance. It's kind of confusing, but could you? No, that's ridiculous if he gets invincibility every turn. But that is gonna be quite annoying to deal with in PvP. And another big buff here is that he's always going to penetrate defense by 20%. The extra 30% is when invincible, but he actually gets invincibility way more. He's gonna have a much better uptime on invincibility now, of course, but because before, I mean, he was relying on another hero to apply the invincibility. Now, and also before you had to kill the opponent to get the invincibility. Now it's really a game changer. I mean, game-changing buff, or buffs, I would say. So Tenebra, 50% chance to put the target to sleep is actually quite good. Beside that, actually, that's skill 1. That's skill 1. It's 1 turn, but sleep is very powerful in PvP. You can really like sometimes lock down the opponent. You could, I mean, keep on putting their I don't know, their Soul Weaver on like sleeping, so like you can't unless they have Wondrous Potion Vial, and we all know how annoying that is when it just keeps on triggering. 100% chance when it's maxed out. A 10% increase here, but I mean, you've got the cooldown reduced by 1 turn as well. So overall, pretty solid. And yeah. Leo attacks with a slingshot, and that is, yeah, a 50% chance to use Sparrow Dive now, which is almost double. Like that's quite good. And damage was increased by 14%. You don't see Leo being used too much. That's the thing. And Flying Raku. What else does that thing do? Better chance to stun. And the cooldown was reduced. I think we'll see some more play with Leo. That's quite a high chance to actually stun. And stun is very powerful. The stun, it doesn't say. I believe it's like a 1 turn stun. It doesn't state it. It has to be 1 turn because, I mean, 2 turn stun would be quite ridiculous. Roman got an interesting buff. Like, I was reading through those, and 4 times the chance, 20%. Well, 20% chance 4 times, but it's better than before, that's for sure. And then you've got on skill 3. That's the Dispel, and also increases the combat readiness of Roman. The thing is, the combat readiness increases by an additional 30% when the enemy is buffed. So yeah, they were buffed, you're removing their buffs, and he's getting a bunch of combat readiness. I mean, he's literally, that's 80%. That's 80%. It's like he's gonna use skill 3 and then skill 2 right away. And then, like, the enemy didn't even go yet, right? And you've got 4 chance to reduce their combat readiness by 20%. So you could potentially just, like, push them so far away and just have your team go. And then, I mean, you are also going to put them out of sync, which is huge in PvP, because it's 4 different chances. Like, some hero might get the reduction, like it doesn't happen, and some of them like get pushed back like 60%, maybe one is like 40%, and it's like all out of order, and like maybe their attack buffer is not going first anymore, and then like whatever, their defense downer is not going, maybe I don't know, their Soul Weaver that applies immunity is got like really pushed back or something like that. I mean, it should be interesting. It should be interesting. Ricorous. We got... Wait, effect chance increased by 25% when the caster is granted. Okay, yeah, so if you have increased speed, his skill 2... Is it 2 or 3 that gives speed? Let's see. Supreme Spear, damage increase 41%. Doubling the healing? The thing is, it's saying that like for both sides, like left and right, so it's like confusing in the fact that was that like, is that what is currently happening now and it's staying the same after the patch? Some runes that are getting increased here in terms of survival increase for Captain Ricorous, so that's good. And we've got Wrasse. Wait, we have improved him by increasing the amount of health he can recover proportional to his max HP by 100% so that he can survive longer. Looks like that's a buff. That's part of the buffing, and damage increased 41%. That's cool. Okay. So Wrasse, this is skill 3. The thing is, it did recover HP before, but it was proportional to the damage dealt. Now it's gonna just straight up recover HP. So it could be, it's probably gonna be percentage of his max HP now instead of damage based, which is good because like you would use Wrasse, like he's a knight, so it can carry Aureus for you if you don't have any other knight. And it's much better to be like that because if he's built as a tank, I mean, he's gonna just scratch the enemy. It's not gonna deal any damage and he's not gonna recover much. So better to do it like this. We'll see how much healing it will be based on his max HP. Yeah, it says damage dealt and amount recovered increased proportional to the caster's max HP at the end. And also, this part was actually confusing because so skill 3, that's before and then that's after. Awakened skill has changed. But why is it called X/? Is that his skill? That's another one of his skills. This has to be X/ is probably skill 1 because I remember he just goes in there and like slash like right and then left, and that's the X/. But it can dispel a buff. Actually, I don't remember a dispelling buff. I know skill 2 triggers a dual attack with the ally with the highest attack. It says change has been made to Wrasse's awakened skill, which now enhances his basic skill. Yeah, basic skill X/. After awakening, the spelling buff is added to the skill effect, which will be very helpful to our heroes in the early stage of his adventure. Okay. We are very cautious about adjusting PvP related heroes, and details will be shared on July the 31st, along with future balancing plans and policies. Adjustments of heroes, especially the nerfing of heroes, will be long enough as to receive feedback from heroes, but buffs will be updated as fast as possible. Okay. So it looks like the next patch will probably be seeing the buffs, and then the details for the nerfs that are coming, well, even buffs, will be shared on the 31st. So we could be getting, yeah, what was listed right in all this in these dev notes for the buffs to the heroes that I talked about. These should be applied probably in the next patch, so that's good. And also the summoning system. Where is it? Yeah, the ones that are getting nerfed, they're saying heroes that are expected to be nerfed will be adjusted to an optimum level to prevent those heroes from being ineffective. Of course, they're not gonna nerf them to the ground. I mean, Moonlight heroes, guys, like super hard to obtain. Compensation and exchange related information will also be announced when the details are settled. Players will be able to exchange for a Moonlight hero of an equivalent star grade if a Moonlight hero they own is nerfed. We will also take into account the memory imprint level. Yeah, that's what I was going to talk about, and they're stating that they will take that into account. So what is it gonna be exactly? You know what, something that wouldn't be unfair, I feel like, would be, imagine if they're giving you a ticket, right? A ticket that you can use to select any Moonlight 5-star or 4-star if it's ML Armin that you got that you recall. What if the new one that you select just gets the same level of memory imprint that the hero you recalled had? I think that's kind of like more fair than like if they start giving multiple copies of I mean, imagine you got 5 ML Araminta, and then you get like 5 ticket to select any 5-star hero, ML hero that you want. And imagine like there's not even any expiration date. You could just like hold on to them until you get something that you want later on. That's kind of weird. That's kind of weird. I feel like just, anyways, it sounds a bit too overpowered if players can just get a bunch of tickets and just get like a full roster of like Moonlight natural 5-star heroes, which should be so much, like it should be so hard to obtain, especially the one that you can just pick the one you want. So I mean, solid buffs. Some were not crazy. Some were really required. I feel like we'll see Roman. I guess Roman is more gonna show up on offense, but still really like interesting buffs. It's like, of course it's a chance though, but 4 times 20%, I like that. I like that. You know what, it's like I prefer that over just 1 chance of like, what's it called? Like imagine it's like 1 chance of 80% versus 4 chance of 20%. Because like on average you'll get some to actually trigger when you're going through the effect resistance mechanics, because you've got 4 chance versus 1. You like it gets resisted, it's over, that's it. But if you have 4 chances, I mean, you could have one go through and that's enough to like mess up their synchronization, like their turn order, and this could be quite helpful to you. Tenebria, nothing insane, I mean, but still, it's just like their cooldowns got reduced, like from 5 to 4, plus buffing the chance. It's good. Ludwig, yeah, I'm not quite sure exactly how it is. Is it 50% chance of granting invincibility, or like the way it's worded, it's almost like you have 50% chance of stunning, and it's like kind of if you land a stun, you're granted invincibility. It's almost like that. That's almost how I'm understanding it. And if that's how it works, that would be unfortunate. Why? Because I mean, you have to go through effect resistance. You have to go. What if they have immunity? What if they can't? You can't land a stun, so you can't get invincibility. So if that's how it works, that's really unfortunate. But I feel like, yeah, it could just be straight up 50% chance to get invincibility, which is really, really powerful, because you can just use that skill 1 into that skill 3. In PvP, of course, it's kind of weird, because you kind of want it to happen on turn 1, but at least it gives him some viability. And if he does trigger the invincibility, well, he's invincible. Yeah. Jesus, I'm having some problem with invincibility and all these, just the way to pronounce it or something. So he'll be fine for next turn, and then he just pops skill 3 and he penetrates 50%. But the 20% base, like it's always there, is really good. I feel like Balance Season got the biggest buff. Like 5 turns to 3 turns is crazy. Like that's so many debuffs that can be applied, and the uptime it's just gonna be so great. Of course, it's not the debuffs that are as powerful as Dizzy, let's say, because Dizzy just totally cripples the offensive power of the enemy. But Balance Season, it's defense down, so it's gonna speed up your damage, and unhealable. So, I mean, think, let's say Golem, you bring him in there and you're just gonna speed up your run. It's unhealable, defense down, taken care of, speed down, just allowing you to go more often, and you've got poison on skill 1, all things that can be useful in multiple areas of the game. So I'm sure, yeah, Balance Season, they will get way more play now. And Luluka, I mean, she needed a buff. And that defense down on skill 1 is really good. It's really good. Can use her in PvE. She can be the only hero on your team that brings defense down, because now you don't have to wait for that cooldown on skill 3 if it gets resisted or if it didn't trigger, because it's not a 100% chance. So solid buffs. Now there was something I wanted to check actually. If it was Leo. He's a ranger. So I remember when the game got released, like in global, we were seeing some Leo on PvP, because it's not bad. I mean, the stun, you open up with this thing, 112 speed is definitely, it's not bad. And you just open with a stun, 75% chance after the buff is definitely gonna be, it's solid. It's solid. It's not 100% of course, but still very good. Because you don't need to stun their whole team. I mean, if you just stun, let's say they have 2 offensive heroes on their team, one of them is stunned, it just allows you to survive the burst that's gonna come out of 1 hero instead of 2, and then their stuff is like out of sync, allowing you to sustain. And yeah, stun on 1, stun on 3, and you got decreased defense. We shall see. So I guess that's it, guys. So thanks for watching. Sorry about the delay. Been busy, been resting because changed time zone. I'm like what's it called, jet lagged. Yeah, I'm jet lagged, and I did need some sleep before that. So it's just the accumulation of missing sleep over the course of a few days. It's good to get some sleep and fix my schedule after being jet lagged. It's much better now, and a lot more videos are gonna be coming up. Don't worry, I'm gonna be doing 2 videos per day. For a few days I'll be switching back to 3 videos per day in not too long, so stay tuned, guys. Thanks for watching. I'm Astranox. Like, comment, subscribe for more. Press the bell icon for to be notified whenever I release a new video, and check out my other videos. They should be showing up on the screen now. Playlists of all sorts: Arena, Guild Wars, Guides, Tips and How-Tos, and Abyss Floor 62+. So check those out if you haven't. Alright, peace out for now, and good luck with all you do in the game.